Hello, I'm Sticker, and I'll be playing Coda Massaquoi.
Hi there, I'm Damien Gerard, and I'll be playing Kris Strom.
Hello, I'm Gary, and I'll be playing Oliver Bright.
Hello, I'm Cyan, and I'll be playing Sarah Baxter.
And I'm Bloodied Porcelain. I'll be your storyteller tonight. Good evening, players. Where last we left off, you all had been going about your daily lives. It was a perfectly normal evening. You were visiting clients, hanging out at friends' houses, and doing homework. And then the not-so-proverbial shit seemed to hit the fan, and you were chased and hunted by what seemed to be a pack of vehicle-sized wolves that, for whatever reason, were able to speak English. You lost a companion. He was a friend to some of you, a work colleague to others, and a complete stranger to one of you, I believe. Teddy fled with you on foot, and just as it seemed like you were all going to get away, you all experienced extreme complete body pain. Like something inside of you was burning its way through your veins from the tips of every extremity to the tips of your hair. Even your eyebrows seemed to ache. And just as you thought you were going to get away, Teddy got snatched into the jaws of one of those massive wolves. You managed to get his body away from said wolf and attempted to triage the best you could in hopes that you could get him to a doctor or a hospital who could save him, but with a punctured lung and rapid blood loss, there was no turning back that clock. Teddy died on the top of a semi that you all managed to jump off of an overpass and onto. But at least he died surrounded by people who gave a damn what happened to him. He was able to pass off his phone to Oliver with the request that Oliver contact his family. And you were able to take his body to the local hospital. Afterwards, you were taken to the police station and questioned. And following that, you were picked up from the police station by a young woman with bubblegum pink hair and too much frantic energy, considering all of the stress that you had just been through, who seemed to have answers, but was adamant that while she could, in theory, give you some, she would never be able to answer all of the questions that you had, and that she thought it was better that you wait until the people who contacted her with the request that she pick you up show up. That they are higher up on the food chain and better able to give you some ideas of the world that you all have found yourselves in. The evening passed relatively uneventfully. You were all able to eat and bathe. You were provided extra clothes so that yours could be washed because they were all quite worse for wear considering the amount of blood that you had on your hands after Teddy died. And you were left to sleep, and it seemed peaceful. Occasionally, one of you might have woken up to the sound of somebody walking around the house. And if you had bothered to check, it was Net. It seemed like she would get up every so often and do a round, check windows, look out at the doors. Vigilant, despite how young she seems. There is something in the way that she carries herself and the darkness in her eyes that suggests that she has seen far more than even you have the night before, and that she is all too keenly aware of the level of danger that everyone could be in if the safe house is found. In the morning, you have the ability to have breakfast, to spend some time together. Not a whole lot goes on. It's a very quiet day. Net is there with you. She doesn't talk a lot, unless approached. Does anybody want to talk to Net, or shall I continue to skip ahead in the exposition?
Coda's just gonna ask her what she's smoking.
I'm not sure entirely what the makeup of it is, but it's made for people like us. It helps keep me alert. My understanding is that it's some sort of pet project kind of put together by the Dodecathions and the Aesir and the Tuatha. They all kind of got together and they created some sort of weird brew that can be turned into different forms, and one of the ways that it can be turned into it is vape juice. I think that there's some stuff from magic apples in here. I don't know.
Coda's just gonna stare at her for a bit because she said a lot of words that she just didn't understand. But then she's just gonna shrug and go, "Listen, does it give the same effect as
weed? No.
Yeah.
No, it helps me heal faster. It keeps me alert when I need to be. That sort of thing. But it doesn't make me high. Sorry.
Oh. Do you have
kind of the opposite of what you're looking for. I mean, I like it. It feels good to me, but if you're looking for something to super mellow you out and make you sleepy, this is not it.
Okay. Thanks. That's it then.
Okay.
And she's gonna go off to a corner somewhere.
Anyone else?
I'm not necessarily going to approach her, at least not right off, but I do want to kind of just look around the house and see, do they have a book selection by chance?
There's some books, yes. They are in a variety of languages. Probably more than you can speak.
Oh, certainly.
You kind of flip through some of them, and there are everything from books with pages that seem like they are actually very thin stone and metal, like sheets and tablets that are etched with runes and hieroglyphics, to what look like more modern languages.
Fascinating. I'll probably just spend some time looking over those. That's really interesting.
You are welcome to look through them. There are a few English, a few in English, but weirdly not very many.
Do I recognize
Considering that it's a house in the U.S., you would think that there would be more English books, but there really aren't.
Do I at least recognize some of these languages?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you notice the hieroglyphics. Those were obvious. Make me an academics and intelligence roll.
All right. And do we still have that +3 from last time? Or is
You
that
do
gone
not.
Down? All right. Academics and intelligence. Three successes.
Okay. You recognize Norse runes, Elder Futhark. You recognize what appears to be either, it's hard to tell, could be Chinese, could be Japanese. You're not super familiar with either language to be able to tell the exact difference, but you notice a lot of, there are a lot of books with Far Eastern looks like handwritten calligraphy. There are languages that might be German, might be. There are others that might be more modern, like Swedish and things like that. It's a very wide variety from all over the place.
I'd like to take the one with Old Norse runes and go look for Kris and just kind of call it, Mr. Strom, you wouldn't happen to know how to read Old Nordic runes, would you?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Fascinating. Can you tell me what this text right here might be about? If it's just general, bunch of other things, but I'm curious on what some of them may pertain, at least in the general scope of things. Anyway, and I'll just kind of hand it to him.
Sure. You ain't got a cigarette by any chance, have you?
I don't smoke, sorry.
Yeah, fuck. Okay. I'll have a look at the book.
The book is a collection of myths from Norse mythology. It looks like it was probably handwritten by somebody. It looks like an older book, but it's still like a modern style of book. Like it was probably put together in, sometime in the early 1900s, and it was handwritten.
Okay. Yeah,
well after the language had passed out of popularity.
This looks like a book of myths. This one here is how Sif got her golden hair. We got Odin's eye, how he lost his eye here. This is Eden and the Golden Apples. Yeah. So it looks like it was written not so long ago, really. This language kind of went out of use like a long time ago. So
it certainly continues to coincide with the theme of the situation we find ourselves in. I just kind of gesture to the building around us. So how are you doing after everything?
I can't really remember exactly what happened last night. It all seems a little bit weird,
It most certainly is.
Seems like a dream, like a video game. Jumping on top of a truck. What the fuck? I mean, no. But yeah, I mean, so kind of confused,
Certainly doesn't seem to fit reality, but I don't know. Maybe the adrenaline, the stress, we just misremember things. Mass hysteria, sort of like that's dancing plague in France from a long time ago.
Oh yeah, St. Vitus's dance.
Yes. Something like that, where you just kind of all mass imagine things.
Right. I was 3/4 away into a bottle of wild turkey as well when that shit went down, so that's probably got something to do with it.
And based on the smell of things, I imagine that Miss Massaquoi was high. As for Miss Baxter and myself, I'm not sure. Speaking on my own terms, perhaps it was just the shock of what happened to Teddy that messed with my mind and caused me to see things as you all did, and who knows, maybe we'll get some answers today.
Yeah, I hope so. I really do.
Yeah.
Well, I need coffee and I need a cigarette most of anything else, so that's what I'm gonna go and find, I think.
And coffee sounds fantastic. I'll join you for that.
All right.
For what it's worth, Kris, when you woke up this morning, you expected to be hungover. You're not. You might need coffee because it was a long night and you haven't slept a ton. But you don't wake up with the headache. You don't feel nauseous. In fact, looking back on it, given that you were in shock and you immediately came in and started drinking, the alcohol was not nearly as potent as you would have expected it to be, considering how much you went through before you fell asleep.
Okay.
all that being said, does anybody else want to talk to Ned before I move us on?
No.
Okay. The day continues to kind of drag by a bit. At one point, I would like everybody to make me an awareness and perception roll.
I'm so good at these.
I know, they're your best.
You're my best friend.
You're my best friend.
1 success.
Okay, I've got
No
1,
success.
0 from Damien,
Also 1.
1 from Sarah, 2 from Coda. Okay. Those of you who got successes, will hear sometime at about 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Net is in the foyer of this house, and she is keeping her voice pitched low, so it is hard to understand her. And is speaking in what sounds like a rushed, annoyed, kind of angry tone in what you assume might be Chinese or Japanese into her cell phone. She seems frustrated is a nice way of putting it. But she doesn't say anything to the rest of you after she hangs up, finishes her call, sounds really annoyed, kind of stomps off into the far part of the house and into the room that she was staying in the night before. Eventually, she does kind of come back out, and she will collect each of you one at a time, and have you come into the living room, which is a very richly appointed, considering this is supposed to be like a safe house where you're only supposed to be for a short period of time. Maybe it's just that you're only supposed to be here for a short period of time, but she brings everybody into the living room and is kind of pacing as you enter. Okay, so I'm sorry for how much waiting there has been. I have been arguing to get somebody here all day. I'm sorry that it's taking so long. However, some things have come up. But now my friends are coming, and my friends are a little bit better at talking about all of this than I am. They're still not going to be able to give you all of the answers that you're going to look for. But we've been given permission to kind of start to fill you in on things. And then my understanding is that you should start hearing from people shortly afterwards. Think of it like a pipeline of information. We're the first point.
I see, but with all these hang-ups, is everything okay? Are we still in danger? What's...
Oh, everybody's in danger. All the time.
Wonderful.
Here.
My friends are really good at their jobs, though, and they're on their way. So they're, you couldn't really ask for better people to be doing what they do. It's just, apparently, you guys caused a little bit of a stir with that whole taking the body to the hospital thing, which, is very, I understand, given the circumstances, you didn't know what else to do, but it's created a little bit of a mess for Moira to sort out. But her and Karim are on their way, and yeah, okay, cool. And she kind of stands back and puts her hands on her hips and looks kind of proud of herself. And again, it is driven home to all of you just how young she actually looks like she is, despite the way that she carries herself and that look in her eye. She looks quite youthful.
Could we guess like a general age range?
Like 19 at the oldest.
Okay.
So, Net.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing this? This whole godling, scion thing?
And we don't like the word godling. That's a word that the enemy uses. So I'm cool, but others might take it personally if you use that term. But anyway, I've been at this for, and she kind of pauses and looks really thoughtful, 6 years, give or take. Yeah, my visitation, I think I was 13.
Visitation. So is that when we're gonna find out why?
So you find out who your parent is. I mean, normally it's the first time you find out that you're a scion at all. But sometimes push comes to shove and you get thrown into a really bad situation and your body sort of takes over and does the thing that your parent hasn't done for you guys yet. Or may not have planned to.
Is that why my head was hurting earlier? Is that why I can't feel anything from my joints and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, and again, I don't know that that's going to be like a long-term thing for you. I don't know if it's going to be permanent. It is for some people, it's not for others. From what I have found, scions who go through their visitations, scions who go through an awakening without a visitation, it's kind of like getting hit with the most extreme version of adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
And
I was about to ask. It felt like I was being lit on fire from the inside out.
Yeah, okay, so that's your divine ichor, your divine blood kind of activating. It can be really painful if it's done in a forced manner, which is what happened last night. So I'm sorry that you had to feel that.
So is my blood different now?
Yeah, all of yours is. I mean, I don't know that humans would be able to tell the difference. Mortals would be able to tell the difference, but us, Titan Spawn, they'd be able to tell. We'd be able to tell.
I'm going to lean over to Kris. I'm starting to think what happened last night was not a mass delusion. That or they're just as delusional. And I don't know which one's more concerning.
Yeah.
My understanding is that there are some scions who can smell when they meet another scion. They can not only tell that you're a scion, but they can tell like what pantheon you're from, which is pretty freaking cool. I didn't get that power. It's annoying. So anyway,
this is a lot to take in.
What power did you get then?
I've got several. Mostly I'm fast and I'm strong and I can take a lot of hits. She does not look like she could take a lot of hits. She's like smaller than Coda, probably like a third of Kris's size. She's tiny. She's like 5'2" tops and thin.
Apologies if this is rude, but who is your parent?
Oh, his name is Neja.
Neja. I
Yeah.
don't know that one.
And about that time, there is a like a shave and a handshake, kind of knock on the door. And then the door opens and two people walk through, and I will allow Jazzy to describe himself.
So, a tall, sharp-featured, not especially handsome, but well-proportioned man steps through the door and grins. Well, you know, you all seem to be getting used to a new reality, isn't that so? My name is Karim Katouzian, and I'm here to help for now.
Well, it took you long enough, comes Net from the top of the stairs as she waits for you to join them all in the living room of the split-level house.
Well, I'm really sorry, Net, you know. I mean, we all have appointments to make, and...
Yes, I know. Moira called earlier and said that it took all day to clean up the mess that they made. I know. But, you know, I haven't slept in 3 days, so that's nice.
Well, I suppose you can get some rest now. Wait, how much have you told them about what situation we're in?
A little bit. We were kind of starting. I didn't want to get too deep into it because you and Moira are way better at the whole talking thing than I am. And as if on cue, a woman steps through the door. She is tall, kind of statuesque. She looks like a carved Greek statue brought to life. She has long, very thick, silky, kind of honeyed brown hair. Hair somewhere caught between blonde and brown, but in the best of ways. Like the light hits it just right and it shines, kind of thing. She has perfectly proportioned features. She is quite possibly the most beautiful woman you've ever laid eyes on. You would think that she is the type of person who would be gracing the front of magazines and newspapers, but you've never seen her before in your life. She is wearing a obviously custom tailored, pencil skirt and suit jacket over what looks to be a silk button-up shirt. And she kind of gives Net an affectionate little smile and then walks kind of up the stairs with Karim and kind of pats his shoulder a little bit.
Moira,
Wow.
How was your evening?
Well, my evening, darling, was lovely, as it usually is. Daytime was a little bit more complicated, considering everything that these ones got up to.
For me as well.
Unfortunately, /fortunately, the enemies managed to take out most of the pitiful levels of surveillance that were in the area of the city where they hunted you all down. So that at least was one less layer I had to deal with, but also less information for us to collect. Good afternoon. I'm Moira. And you are?
Oliver Bright. Ma'am,
Good to meet you, Oliver. And you must be Sarah, Coda, and Kris, yes?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sarah will not.
Hey there.
Good to meet you. And she'll give Kris a little, knowing smile for a moment before she turns back to the rest of you.
I'll frown.
So, first things first, we should be polite. I am a scion of Hera. And she'll kind of gesture at Karim.
And Karim, still maintaining the same sharkish smile, says, and I am a scion of Thraosha, the Persian god of justice.
He does like to throw on a little bit of flamboyancy at the end. And she'll kind of grin at Karim.
Take pride in your heritage, Moira.
No, Hera needs no introduction. Everyone knows who she is.
I don't.
she's the
Really?
queen of the Olympian goddesses.
Yes.
Or gods in general.
Like in that
Exactly
Disney
so.
movie?
No. My mother's nothing like the Disney movies. None of them are, really. Except maybe Hermes. He's at least close.
Okay. So I just have a question.
Yes.
What if we don't want to, I mean, I'm speaking for myself here. What if I don't really care to meet this parent or whatever?
Well, it's certainly an option for you to not meet them, but you should know that you'll probably be dead within the week.
Right.
Not because your parent would do anything to you, but because the enemy will find you and they will kill you. Your parent meeting you is very important. It's how you get the first taste of real power. It's how they give you your birthrights so that you can focus in the part of their divine power that they are allowing you to use. because there are parts you can't just use on your own. You need an item to help you focus it. Otherwise, it would burn you up from the inside.
So
Right.
Who is the enemy?
The Titans and their children, the Titan spawn.
So is this just our life now? Always on the run, always in danger, never getting a chance to just breathe and be people anymore?
Well, during quieter moments, you can live some semblance of a normal life, but you should really always be prepared for it to be abnormal. Fate will see to that.
And is Fate a god too? Or
She'll
just-
kind of look at Karim. Do you want to take this one?
Fate is not a god. Fate is that thing which binds gods to this world and binds all of us together. It is a pattern of creation. It is not escapable even by the gods. And sadly, or to your benefit, your fate is not what the fate of a normal human is. You know, like it or not, you have been awoken. Whether or not you choose to take the call is up to you. But divine blood flows through your veins, and you can only make the best of your situation.
So, I got a question. When you say the Titans, you mean like the Jotun? Or the Asura?
Among others, there's a great many Titans. Each pantheon has at least one.
Okay.
They've all been locked away for quite a long time, but they are, as always, desperate to get out. And given that they can't slip between the bars of their cells, they send their children instead. Who, the ones that you met, the wolves?
They were
Net said they were wolves.
They were very large wolves.
Yeah.
Yes, well, the wolves are Titan spawn.
Who specifically?
I'm not from the Aesir Pantheon, so I'm not entirely sure I understand all of their... They have an odd setup. We all have our own individual structures. Mine comes with the wealth of Titans. But my understanding is that the wolves are direct descendants of Fenrir. And from what I know of Aesir lore, Fenrir's destined to eat the world or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a world eater.
Delightful.
So, the reason why we brought you here, why we knew you wouldn't be safe just going home for the night, is because these wolves, these Fenris wolves, the children of Fenrir, they get stronger because they eat the hearts of scions.
Well, shit.
There was some suspicion before now that that's what we were dealing with, but no one had ever survived, and frequently the bodies were so mangled that we couldn't tell what precisely had been done with them.
So when you say eat the hearts of sounds, is that metaphorical or
Oh
literal?
no, that's quite literal.
I see.
But that's why we sent Net.
So, so you know about Teddy dying then, right?
Yes, I'm the one who cleaned up that mess, yes.
So you guys got his body then, right? So it
The
wasn't eaten?
authorities have his body.
Gotcha.
His cause of death will be explained, and it will be returned to his family.
So
I
do we
made
still
sure.
need to get a lawyer, or are we good to go?
No. I took care of all of that. Don't you worry.
Okay, thank you.
So does our parents just like come to us in a dream, or do they possess bodies? Like how did a god create us?
The gods can come to the world, right? It happens. It happens more frequently than you might think. My mother spent, oh goodness, a decade acting as a CEO of a beauty company not too recently.
So they just come on this earth to play games with mortals and then just have kids and just dip out? Is that what I'm hearing?
I had the same question, although
That's
I
a very
more eloquently.
That's a very
Some of them do, or some of them see it that way, but others of them see themselves as participating in the great pattern of fate. However you see it, you are here now as children of the gods. You have a destiny, and you have particular marks of that empower you and endanger you.
But why now? It feels like this all happened all of a sudden.
Because the enemy found you.
That's something we're trying to find out as well.
We don't know how.
Was it because we were all in close proximity to each other? Because, you know, I've been around for 30-odd years, so they could have found me before now.
That's what I was thinking. Was it planned, waiting for us all to be near each other, or were they just opportunistic, coincidental? How does this all play into this weave of fate, as you say?
Just to be upfront, we can't answer the question of whether you were ever meant to get a visitation and they simply forced your awakening to happen beforehand, or if your parent had decided to allow you to live a full and complete life without involving themselves, which is an option. There are plenty of divinely blooded humans running around that have no idea. Well, I shouldn't say plenty. There really aren't a lot of scions in the world, but there are enough that occasionally, you know, your parent will look at you and decide that the life that you are living seems complete enough without them meddling in it and bringing fate into the picture. And they'll allow you to go on about your life and live it happily. There are others who simply don't fit the mold of what their parent is looking for. Frequently, visitations happen based on what is strategic to the parent at the time. Most scions follow a certain pattern in personality and gifts based on what their parent is good at, but not always. Sometimes a scion is born and is the complete opposite of the parent who created them, and the parent decides, you know what, they're better off just being mortal, having a normal life. We don't know how the enemy has managed to figure out who is a scion, who is a potential scion. We don't know, because it's not a gift even we have. We can tell who's a scion after they've awoken or had their visitation, but not before. If I had met you yesterday, Kris, I would have had no idea.
Then how did you find out about us when we were outside the police station? Nets rolled up.
When you went through your visitation, your
us.
Parents felt it.
And they let you know about us?
It's... Alright, so it's worth noting that this thing that happened to you has been going on for a little bit. We've been actively fighting, trying to figure out who's behind it, how they've got the tricks that they do, because potential scions are getting forced into awakenings and then are immediately killed, which is obviously thinning the herd quite a bit. The gods and the titans have been in a war since before time was time. Right? We can all understand that, yes?
Okay.
Scions are the soldiers in that war because the gods can't use the full force of their powers to continue fighting actively in the world. If they try, natural disasters would be just the beginning of what would happen to this world.
So we've been drafted.
I'm not a soldier. I'm
That's what I was going to say.
struggling vet med student.
And look at me. What am I going to do? Read them a book?
Run fast, jump on a car.
Have
I
any of you
can
ever
do the
actually
Heimlich remover on a
military?
dog.
Have any of you actually been in the military?
No.
The
Yeah,
bulk of the
combat
people in the
experience.
military are not fighters.
Sarah coughs.
They're not. They're engineers and logistics people and technicians and support staff. The fighting part of the
spies.
military is actually, and spies, yes, spies. The actual fighting force of the military, what most people think of as military when they picture it, just a small portion of it. Everyone, no matter what your particular gift or skill set is, who has divine blood is a soldier. Divine blood or Titan blood is a soldier in this war. I am, and I am not gifted at hitting things.
Nor am I. We have Net for that.
Net sort of gives a little awkward wave from the side. She doesn't look like much, but she's quite effective.
Oh yes, you don't want to get into a scrap with her. Brothers and sisters, you have something to contribute, whether you realize it or not. You know, your gifts will be known to you, will be made known to you soon. Let us help you, and you may survive.
For what it's worth, the fact that you survived your initial encounter certainly stacks the odds in your favor. Because now we have time.
Okay, so what is it you want us to do?
Well, for right now, we're here to answer questions, help you get some light on the situation. And my understanding is that there's going to be some meetings happening, at which point I believe Net will drive you to your respective locations. Once we know exactly where those are, the guards aren't going to tell us until the last minute so that we're not ambushed.
They need us to go to designated locations. They can't just come to us.
If they all came here, darling, everyone would know where you are.
It would light up like a lighthouse. That makes
Yes.
sense.
Exactly.
On that note, where are we all supposed to go after this place? Because it was very clear that this is just a temporary solution.
You will be
Yeah.
given marching orders by your parents.
Very well.
Now, Oliver, darling,
Me.
there is someone who very much wants to speak to you.
I don't see why these three are much more spectacular than I am.
My understanding is that there is a particular connection.
All right then.
Now, this is going to be a multi-part process, yes? But I think perhaps you and I should go into one of the side rooms and we'll take care of the first part of this while the others spend some time with Karim and Net and they continue to fill them in.
Very well. Lead the way.
She will kind of give you a little smile, reach over and just pat your hand reassuringly, and leave the rest of you in the room as she leads Oliver into a side room. after several moments of kind of walking around you and muttering in Greek, she takes a deep breath and a step back, and she looks over into an empty corner and says, "Are you ready?" And once she apparently gets whatever it is that she's looking for.
I have not been ready since the
I wasn't talking
moment
to
I
you,
woke up.
darling. It's fine.
Okay.
And then she sort of reaches out and she passes her hand along your, like, over your good eye. She doesn't touch it, but sort of waves her hand in front of it while she's speaking in Greek. And when she pulls her hand away, there is a figure standing in the corner of the room that she was just speaking to. He looks translucent, but just as he looked last night before he got hurt. Teddy?
Hey, Oliver. Hey.
Mr. Abernathy, I'm sorry.
I don't really think you should be sorry.
Of course I should be. It's you had a family, and now I'm here instead, and we had just been in different places. If you were on my left instead of my right, it would have been me instead, and you would be here, and you can contribute. You know all about technology, computers. They can use things like that. I know old books. Then none of that matters. What matters is your daughter now, and I failed you. I failed you.
You didn't. It's. I know that she's gonna be okay. You know. There's. You know. If you could, maybe check in on her every now and again for me. But...
I will. Absolutely.
Positive, she'll be fine.
How are you even...
She's a smart girl.
How are you even here? I know lots of weird things are happening, but Ghost seems out of left field.
It's a kind of a long story, but also pretty short. After the truck, after I died, honestly, I expected it to just be nothing, but there was something. There was... I don't know. It was like just an endless field of stuff. But there was a woman who I spoke to, and she told me, she explained the situation properly, gave me the whole, you know, you're the child of a god, which was a bit of a shock to me. It turns out that woman was my mother. I'm sorry, I'm not here for me, I'm here for you. She's asked me to do something. It's to talk to you and explain things properly.
Just me? Why just me?
Well, because your dad is a part of the same pantheon, apparently, as my mother. I know how that sounds. It does sound extremely weird. But
That makes sense.
I'm also a talking ghost, so...
That you are. And I guess we're
At this
distantly
point, I don't
related
also-
now?
I don't know if that's how that works. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Well, your dad, whose name's Ogma, apparently is a very wise person.
Alchemar, you said.
Yeah. Celtic, if that matters to you. Honestly, if I had to pick a god for you, I wouldn't have picked him. I would have picked Odin. I mean, you're missing an eye.
That I am. That I am. I don't know much about the Celtic gods. I guess I have some reading to do.
Not quite how it works. They don't pick after they're born.
I know, I'm just saying, it fits.
In a way. Oliver's not as warlike as Odin. One of Odin's names is Glad of War.
That's also a good point. Mr. Abernathy, I don't know if I can do this. The others, they have a chance. I'm dead weight. At some point, I'm going to freeze up. I'm not going to know what to do. I'm going to get people killed like I got you killed.
You didn't get me killed. All right.
I didn't do enough to save you.
Well, you're a teacher. What could you have done?
Better. I could have done better. Could have been a surgeon like my mother wanted, and then I could have operated on you and maybe bought you time at least.
But if you were a surgeon, you wouldn't have been there.
Perhaps.
You know, if you weren't a teacher, if you weren't on that street, you wouldn't have been there. And things might have gone different. Maybe we all would have died if you weren't.
I hardly think that. I threw some books around and that's about it.
You did something. You did more than me.
I'm gonna reach into my pocket and pull out Teddy's cell phone. I almost threw this away last night. I was thinking, because what if those things could trace us through it? But in reality, I think it was for a different reason. What should I do with it? What do you want me to do with it?
I don't know. It's up to you, really. Do you want to? I'm pretty sure you could just use it to Google Ogma, look at Wikipedia for him.
I could use my own phone for that as well.
Yeah. Could use my data plan. It's a pretty good one, so.
I feel like that seems a bit like grave robbing, don't you think?
I mean, I gave it to him, so. I mean, I gave it to you, sorry. So. But sorry, we're getting distracted. I actually. She also wanted me to give you something. She just reaches into like his ghostly pockets and pulls out this little stone and like holds it out to you.
I even touch that?
Apparently I can, so I think you can.
Well, you're incorporeal.
Yeah, but the stone isn't.
Stone does look much more solid than he does.
I'll tentatively reach out and take it.
What you find is a smooth, circular stone with a hole drilled at the top. Like it might be a place for a necklace or something. It has lines carved into it. If you want to make an academics and intelligence roll, maybe you can recognize what they are, even though you can't read them.
All right. I'll most certainly attempt that. That is
2 successes. You are fairly certain that you have seen pictures of this type of carving on stone monuments in and around Ireland specifically. The second it touches your palm, you can hear a faint kind of otherworldly drifting music surrounding you. Teddy, you would have been told what that means.
As far as I am aware, the stone, it sings in the presence of another member of the pantheon that we're a part of. It's very weird. It's very strange.
That is quite strange, but then again, so is everything else. So if anything, this is normal by comparison.
Well, some normality would be good.
The normal form of normality. Unfortunately, I think we're past that now.
I think we're long past that.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if you know, I don't know if this person's told you. All the gods are meeting, and apparently you're all meant to go there to get stuff, to get your gifts, whatever those may be. I think this is one of them, but there's meant to be more. Have you ever been to Maine?
Maine? No, I've never been to Maine.
Good, it's a horrible place, but unfortunately you're going to have to go there now.
You do not give a very good travel recommendation.
Well, to be fair, the place you're heading is, I don't know, it's run by dwarves, apparently. It's called Anvil, which I've just realized why it's called Anvil, because it's run by dwarves. Yeah.
That does seem to correlate. So we are being sent to go in the direction of a place overrun with the very things that killed you.
Wolves, not wolves.
Oh.
The little small guys. Hammers and mining.
Right, I misheard. I know you
Your
mentioned
English teacher.
I know you mentioned dwarves the second time. The first time I thought you said wolves. My apologies.
Oh, no. Dwarves. No. But yes, apparently all the gods are meeting there. Your dad included, so you'll get to meet him.
Not all of them, just a handful.
Imagine if my
Are the
father's
others'
there.
parents meeting there?
I don't believe so. Yours has been popping in and out, is my understanding, but she is a forge goddess, so I imagine she's part of the production line.
Yes, so I guess that's my job done.
Oh, what's next for you?
I don't know.
My understanding is that at least for a little while, Teddy will be able to come and go and aid you however he can. I guess is probably to pass on information when and where possible. I have been tasked with providing the enchantment so that your companions can see him. Unfortunately, it's a little bit more involved, takes a little bit more time, so I couldn't just do it for everyone. It'll take at least a few hours to get it set up. So I thought that you two should have your private moment, because that I could do in a couple of minutes.
As a ghost, can I just appear where I want to appear? Or do I have to walk?
It depends. My understanding is that you should be able to sort of pop between wherever your afterlife is and here as needed. But if you want to not have to go there, then you'll have to find a way around. You should also be able to take advantage of things like vehicles and whatever. You can't drive, but if someone else is, you can get in with them.
Can you go through walls?
Yes, you can go through walls.
Oh, at least you get that benefit.
How come I'm not falling through the floor then?
I have no idea, darling.
Maybe it's about intense, you don't want to, so you're not?
Understand that I only have gifts where death is concerned because I did a favor for Uncle Hades some time ago. So.
Uncle Hades? What?
That's just a normal thing you said, as if it happens all the time.
Well, among us, it does. Well, perhaps not specifically working for Hades does, but he doesn't ask us for favors very often, so when he needed some help, I stepped in.
Actually, that's a good point. You said he's your uncle, yeah?
Well, yes, because he's my mother's brother.
I know. Yeah. Does that mean Ogma's my uncle and Oliver's my cousin?
Oh, goodness, I don't know how the family tree for the Irish work. I don't know if they're all related. Some of them are, I think, but not all. Some of them are from pantheons that were around much, much earlier than the Tuahoa.
So this means that, technically speaking, ethnicity-wise, I am Irish now?
Yes,
Celtic?
at least half. You
It's a
are
shame
very much Irish.
It's a shame I don't drink.
There are a good many teetotalers among the Irish. Don't let them fool you. They don't have, they don't all have what they think they do in the stamina department. We'll just put it that way.
Fair enough.
I guess the question now is up to you, Oliver. Do you want to go with them, or do you want to stay and not do that?
As far as I see it, if I go on my own, I will be dead by the weekend, so I don't think I have much choice in the matter.
Did she ever text back?
I don't
You
know.
checked the phone today, Oliver?
I'll check it now.
Yes. There was a text very early this morning at like 7 o'clock, which would have been around the time that she was getting up for school. And it just says, "Oh, where are you? You didn't come home last night. I'm scared."
She's asking where you are, and that she's scared.
But there's nothing after that.
Okay.
Okay. Just okay.
What else can I do?
I
I
can
can't
give another
interact with her.
message.
For what it's worth, Teddy, I saw to it that she'll be given a far less graphic and painful cause of death than you actually went through.
Sorry, what?
So, is there anything else I need to know about, or? Or what?
As far as I know, I've told you everything I know. Oh, God, sorry. It's up to you if you keep the phone or not.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll think on it. It was good to see you, Teddy.
Good to see you.
And thank you for bringing me up to speed.
Well, someone had to do it. Might as well have been me. What else am I gonna do?
There's not a bunch of ghost-related activities, no incorporeal polo.
Might go haunt Bill Murray.
No.
Might just do it.
No, misers you need to go terrify into being a good person. Shame. Maybe in the winter.
Maybe. I'll go look for a very tall building and haunt it.
No.
I'll make sure to scare off any people that live in it.
Sounds like a plan.
I'll single-handedly destroy the gentrification of this city.
Oh, well. Certainly a goal.
Yeah, well,
Right.
got a
I
lot of
hate
time
to
on
be
my hands
the
now.
bearer of bad news, but this enchantment's not going to last much longer. Teddy, if you could hang around, get some rest. Ghosts do need to rest. Don't overestimate yourself. Get some rest. I'll work on all of this and making this a little bit more long-term situation so that all of your friends can also speak to him. In the meantime, I believe Karim and Net are going to be... Well, Karim should be getting the call, and I believe Net is going to accompany all of you to where you need to go. Oliver, you are welcome to stay if you would like, or you can go with your friends.
I was told this safe house was only going to remain safe for a couple of days.
Oh, yes, no, I mean, they have some errands they have to run this afternoon. They'll be coming back.
Oh, right, so they need to meet with people.
Karim is going to be working on getting you all a car so that you have a way to leave tomorrow morning.
Well, I don't mean to impose on their very profound interactions with their godly parents, so I won't force myself along unless they ask.
All right, well, let's at least go talk to them. Go on.
Oh, one last thing. Tell Kris I said thank you. That prayer was lovely.
I'll be sure to do that. I go to pat him on the shoulder, but I imagine it just goes through.
Probably have to say yes. Careful of the ectoplasm.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
You all, or I should say, Teddy fades from view. And Oliver, you and Moira make your way back out into the main room, where Sarah, Kris, and Coda are sitting with Karim and Net. It looks like Karim has been kind of on and off the phone quite a bit. He's probably had to leave the room a few times. Net has done her best to be entertaining.
I'm just going to sort of sit down and deflate a little bit. Mr. Abernathy was very appreciative of your prayer, Mr. Strom.
What do you mean?
I spoke with him just a moment ago, and he wanted to say thank you.
Fuck. Okay. Is he alive or?
No, he's a ghost.
He's a ghost?
He's a ghost.
Well, shit.
Agreed.
All right, friends. So I managed to call my employers at the embassy and get us a car. So that's good news for us. We're on the road. Karim is still grinning his ever-present grin.
In the morning. They'll be on the road in the morning. They
Of
have
course.
to meet, those who can meet their parents here still have to do so. Did that particular call come in? Are they ready? My understanding is Net is itching to get out of the house.
It did.
Perfect. All right. Well, I believe you should be able to just text Net the locations, and Net will get them on their way safely, and we'll see them back here in the evening.
Of course. All right. So Karim does that.
Net kind of looks down at her phone and sort of bounces on the halls of her feet. Cool. So there's a bar and a hookah lounge. Interesting. Cool. All right. Well, let's get going.
A hookah lounge? Wait, sorry, what?
There's just locations that have been in here. There's an underground hookah lounge and a bar that is a complete hole in the wall. I don't know why anybody would want to go there, but apparently we're going there.
Cool, great. Are we going to?
The assumption is that at least 3 of you are going. Oliver's welcome to ride around if he wants to, tag along.
Okay, great, because I need fresh air. I think I'm gonna lose my mind if I keep watching Nat walk back and forth.
Oh, well,
No
I'm
offense.
going to be driving, so...
Right. Sorry. Cool. So we're heading out? This is great. Can I bring my bat with me, or should I leave that here?
Absolutely. You certainly can.
All right, cool. And Coda's just gonna kind of get up and start getting ready to move, and she's like flicking her lighter a little bit in like nervous energy. Like, I just need to move around.
Hey, Oliver, are you gonna ride with us, or do you want to just hang here?
If everyone will have me,
Yeah, man, come on, come and
Yeah,
join us.
come on, Mr. B.
Yeah,
We're not
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
leave behind you and your brick of a what was it? Hamlet, omelet, books.
you
Yeah, come along.
Is there a
know
book
what
called
it's
Omelet?
there probably is.
I think
There's
that's
a lot
how
of
it's
books.
pronounced.
All right. Well, this is all very entertaining. Let's go. Net is like eagerly bouncing down the little like half stairs to the foyer and then down another half stairs, and she takes the doorway at the bottom into the garage.
Before we go, there wouldn't be any, like, thread or string or anything around the house, would there?
You know what? I may have something, Moira says, and she sort of disappears back into the house, into one of the rooms that you haven't seen inside of, and she comes back out with a what looks like a very finely made long silver chain. There you go.
Thank you, Miss Mora.
Now, understand that your birthrights are indestructible, but that chain is not, so be very careful with it. Someone can still take it from you.
I'll keep it close by. I'll just thread the chain through my little stone and put it on as a necklace.
Suits you. All right, off you go, children. Net is already in the car waiting for all of you when you pile in. She pulls out of the garage and starts driving through the city. Now that it's not dark and you're not all in a constant state of, oh my god, something's going to eat me, you have a chance to see that the inside of the car is... You have never seen a model of car quite like this. It is somehow like almost every luxury sports car you've ever seen, but completely different. The symbols everywhere are nothing that you've ever looked at. Where there should be the symbol of some sort of car maker, there are Japanese symbols, things like that. It looks like all of the leather working has been stitched with a great deal of care. And you realize as she is driving and as she is like turning the wheel and whatever, it is highly reactive to everything that she does. It's like the car's a piece of her when she's the one driving it. She first drives kind of through the city to like the outskirts of a less than savory part of town. And you pull up outside of what looks like a bar. There are a line of Harleys out front. It is loud. There's music playing inside. People, you can hear people from inside, even sitting out in the car. It looks like a hole in the wall kind of place. It's one of those places that like nobody but the people who come here would ever go here kind of place. There is a sign hanging out front that has a pair of bearded axes crossed above a beer mug. And it's called the Mead Hall. All right, well, there is a bouncer outside of the door. Big guy in a like an MC Club cut. Heavily tattooed arms. Bald with a full beard. Well, I don't know whose stop this is, so that guy at the door probably does.
All right.
I mean, obviously probably not Oliver's, because we've already figured out what pantheon he belongs to.
I'm Irish, I found out.
Oh. Cool.
So, you want us to go and ask or what?
That would be my guess.
Okay.
All right.
Get
Sarah's
out.
gonna also get out.
How are you guys going to approach the door?
Kind of side by side, I guess. To walk
As
up to the guy.
Yeah.
As I'm walking up, I'm already like reaching into my jacket pocket to pull out my wallet and get my ID ready because we're going to a bar. That's what I think needs to happen.
No, Coda is fully hands in pocket, walking straight up to this guy with the group.
Does this bar look like a bar that smoking is allowed in?
Oh yeah. You can kind of look through these windows and they look very kind of yellowish and dingy.
Okay, cool. Then Sarah's gonna light a cigarette.
So you all get up to the door. I'm going to assume that Oliver's not at the front of the pack because he already knows what pantheon he belongs to. He's not here to meet his parent. But the rest of you kind of go up as like almost in a little diamond formation. And the bouncer kind of gives you all a doubtful look and appraises you with his eyes. And as you get close enough, considering that Kris is the biggest and most imposing of you, he kind of puts up a hand to stop Kris specifically. No, not you. Her. And he points at Sarah. You're expected.
There we go. That was easy. Have fun.
Okay.
Uh,
Do my best.
yeah.
She'll wave bye to the others and continue walking in.
Sarah, as you walk into this place, there is a miasma of cigarette smoke, cigar smoke, kind of hanging in the air. It's like a cloud that you've literally physically walked into. You are able to kind of barely see your way around. There are tables kind of everywhere. When you walk, you hear and feel crunching under your feet, and you look down and you are stepping on peanut shells. And there are buckets of shell-on peanuts on each of the tables. There is loud metal music coming from a jukebox in the back. Everyone who is in here except you, at least at first glance, seem to be wearing biker cuts and jackets. Most of them with a lot of patches that your time in working in the justice system you recognize as like gang patches. Patches that mean everything from this is someone who is killed for the MC to someone who is part of like the power structure, either as like president, vice president, that sort of thing. And sitting at at first you're convinced that there is no way that anything divine is happening here and that this is all a mistake, and you're ready to turn around and leave. When you notice an imposingly built man with dark hair and a big beard is sitting at a table kind of towards the back corner, away from the others, and they seem to be keeping a very wary distance from this guy. He is not in leathers. He's in a polo shirt. And he is smoking a huge cigar.
About what time is it?
It's like 5 or 6.
Okay,
It's still early evening.
Sarah's gonna order a beer that's on tap. And then go sit across from this polo dressed man.
JD, if you will.
Counselor, good evening.
And you are?
Well, the visit may be coming a little ahead of schedule, but I'm your daddy.
That I was able to surmise.
I am Vidar Odinson. If you've never heard of me, that's all right. About the only people that have are the people who have read the Eddas and paid attention to the Ragnarok prophecies. Do you know what Ragnarok is?
I get the gist.
It's the end of the world, Sarah. It's the end of the world. Thor dies, Odin dies, almost everybody dies. But not me. My job is to finish off the fight and avenge the Allfather. The only thing that matters is getting that job done. Can't save him. Can't save any of them. Your job is to stay alive. Gonna need good help rebuilding it. Here. He slides a shot glass across the table. How special. They make a real good meat here.
She'll take a sip.
It is sweet and biting all at the same time. It is good quality, so it's not so sweet that it tastes like prison hooch, but it's not like anything you've ever had before. It is heady, though. Seems to go almost straight to your head.
So my job is to stick with all of these scions and just not die?
Pretty much. Keep your head on a swivel. Keep your eyes open. Never go anywhere without a plan. Keep yourself alive. Do the best you can for your friends. Got 2 things that I want to tell you. And then, if you've got some questions for me, that's fine. First thing, you remember that guy? You were 19, maybe 20, while you were in the Navy. You're on shore leave in Malta, and you punched that guy so hard you broke his jaw and you broke the bone in your pinky finger punching him. You remember that guy?
She's gonna cover her face partially in embarrassment. Yes. It's one of the few things I do remember from a Liberty port.
I saw that happen. Guy twice your size and you broke his jaw. You know how I'm supposed to kill the Fenris wolf, right? Wait, probably not. I break his jaw and stab him through the roof of his mouth. Good work. Good work. That echo right there, I felt that. Second thing. I understand you lost somebody last night. This fella Teddy.
Yes.
Sorry about that, kid. You need to
It's
harden
not the first time.
Harden your heart. It's not the first time. It won't be the last. But you did something last night while that was going on. And I want you to think about this real careful. Those monsters in the fog behind you. You knew good and well that that wasn't a fight you could win. You were running from them for a reason. And you turned and you went back in the fog after a man that was already as good as dead. It's a brave thing you did. But it wasn't real smart. You're gonna take my gifts. You're gonna go out into the world. And you're gonna do great things. I believe in you. But you gotta be smart. You understand?
There's probably not much I understand about what's going on right now, but I've always found that my preferred method of learning is by doing. She'll say raising the shot glass and then drinking the rest of its contents.
Good girl. He picks up his own glass and drinks his as well. Do you have any questions?
She'll sit and think for a moment. I think the problem right now is I have so many questions I don't even know where to begin.
I understand. I'm spending some time here in the mortal realm again, right? I'm running a security. Here's my card. He slides a business card across the table. It's got a secure email address on it. You decide there's something you want to talk to me about, drop me a line.
She'll gingerly take the business card and place it in her jacket pocket. I
Now,
will.
I got 2 things for you. One I've got with me. One, you're gonna have to go pick up. It's not ready yet. Like I said, this awakening that you went through last night is a little ahead of schedule. I've been watching for a while. I had a plan. I was gonna visit you next year. This pack of Fenris wolves has forced my hand. But these I have ready for you. He reaches down into the booth, and he comes up onto the table with a shoebox. Just plain brown cardboard. And he slides it across the table to you. He turns and he looks at the rest of the people in the bar, raises one eyebrow and looks at him. And any of them that were looking at the table turn and immediately go back to what they were doing.
Sarah, when you open the box, inside are a pair of very heavy looking brown combat boots. They look like they'd weigh at least a few pounds each. But you realized as you were like adjusting the box to face you and everything that there's no way. There's no way they weigh that much. The leather looks aged. And like the boots should be damaged, but somehow they're not. They look new, but the leather itself does not. The leather itself looks very old, but well cared for.
What are these?
I made these for you myself. I used leather from my own boots to make these. This is Ready Modir, Wrathful Fury. They'll serve you well. You know, it's like that meme that goes around now and then. Got something hard to do? Wear sensible shoes and walk like you're going to kill.
She'll just smile like she knows what he's talking about.
Old joke. Sorry.
Well, when is killing Captain America? What do these do exactly?
Well, you'll find it easier to make an entrance, breaking things, knocking people down. It's not much, but it's a little edge. This is the pair of shoes you want to wear when you do it.
So wear them all the time. Got it.
Pretty much. Your other gift is a replacement for the pea shoe you used last night. Folks up at Anvil are working on it. It should be ready for you by the time you get there. Little town up in Maine. Big stuff going on up there right now. You and your friends need to get on the road and get headed that way as soon as you can.
Alrighty then. I guess that's the mission. I'll do air quotes. Right?
That is what we've got at the moment.
Vidar,
I don't
you do know that there are a number of tacticians meeting in Anvil, including the Allfather. They'll have more succinct orders.
There is more afoot than what it seems. Gods from every pantheon, the tacticians, the warlords, the big brains. They're getting together and talking out what happened to you folks last night. It's been happening. And you and your friends are the first ones to make it out alive. We finally have an idea about what's actually going on. The Titans have declared war. Be listening for Heimdall's horn. It could sound any time.
Sarah will nod and rub one of her temples. Well, unless there's anything else, there's a couple of other appointments that my friends and I need to attend. I do hate to leave so soon, but this does seem urgent.
It is. And don't worry, we'll have time to catch up on it.
Right. I guess I'll talk to you then. She'll say, gathering up the boots.
He stands, steps to the edge of the booth, and puts a hand on your shoulder. Sarah, one of the things I like best about you, you're a fighter, but you use your head. Don't forget, just because you're in a fight, you have to use your head. It's how you'll make it out. You kids go ahead. Keep your eyes open and have a plan everywhere you go. All right?
Understood.
As
Goodbye,
you
Sarah.
Oh, sorry. Sarah, as he turns to walk away, you watch as, and rather than walking towards the door, front door of the bar, he walks towards the back of it. The bikers kind of scattered around, doing their own thing, all part a bit like a Red Sea before him. Nobody dares to get close. None of them looks entirely sure why they're so intimidated, but they are. And he walks towards what looks like a, I don't know, janitor's closet, manager's office. And what you notice that nobody around you seems to notice is that as the door opens, there is a flash of light, what sounds like a roll of drums, and the shouting of a raucous battlefield. And then the door closes. You smell burnt amber, and then as the door closes, it all goes back to normal. and you are alone in a biker bar, surrounded by people who are doing what they can to not look at you.
She will make her way out of the bar and back to the car.
All right. So how did it go?
I don't know.
What'd your dad give you?
Looks like some boots for kicking stuff that really need to be kicked.
Oh, ass-kicking boots. That's awesome.
He gave you some Doc Martens?
Oh, I have a rock that tells me when other Celtic things are nearby.
Huh. A rock, some boots, a vape. What, that's your thing, right, Net? A vape? Or are you
One of
allowed
them.
to
I
tell
thought it
me?
was the car.
One of them. The car is also one of my gifts. I've been at this for a long time. I guess.
Also, I have a gun in Maine.
Oh, in Maine?
Oh, I wasn't told what was waiting for me there. Yes, apparently we're going to Anvil. It's a place in Maine.
Oh, you guys get to go meet the dwarves. That's cool. I've never gotten to go there.
Dwarves are... Is that...
Dwarves?
Boys,
Is
you
it like...
shit me.
What is...
Like the Norse dwarves.
Like
Like
actual...
master craftsman dwarves.
I feel like that's not... Okay,
Not-
cool. Dwarves. Yeah.
Dwarves.
This is crazy.
Oh, I almost forgot.
That's the problem you have with our situation. The dwarves, not the fact that we are children of gods.
Oh no, I had a problem with that too, but I guess that's
Oh.
something that I'm gonna have to live with now.
And I mean, speaking of, mine is named Vidar. I don't know who that is. I'll probably have to Google it later.
She's just gonna look to Oliver and be like, you know this? Have you heard this in your books?
A little
Vidar.
bit, but Mr. Strom probably knows more.
Yeah, I know who Vidar is. He's a son of Odin. You shitting me? You shitting me? Fuck.
No.
Mine's Ogma. He's apparently a very eloquent, thoughtful individual.
Checks out.
He made a whole language.
I looked that up on Wikipedia, yeah.
I thought we shouldn't use Wikipedia when we're looking up things.
If you're writing an essay, don't use Wikipedia, but if you just want random facts, it's fine.
Wikipedia is a great place to start to find the books that you need.
You can also scroll down and find the sources that they use and then go to said sources.
Okay, I get it. I know I'm in college now. I was making a joke. Goodness.
Hey, well, next up is the hookah lounge.
Oh God.
You all are in Net's car. She seems excited by the gifts that people have been given and the revelations that have come. You all have a couple of minutes to talk while you are on the road to the next stop.
So,
Nah,
ahead.
you go first.
I was just going to say, do we want to take any guesses on who's meant to go into the hookah lounge? I'm looking right at Coda.
Listen, just because I occasionally smoke doesn't mean that my mother, father, who whatsoever is in there. This could very well be Kris. You know?
Oh God, I fucking hope not.
It could be. Who knows?
I mean, yeah, it could.
Could be.
Yeah.
And let's face it, it's likely to be me.
Yeah.
What's wrong with hookah?
Nothing. I mean, it just doesn't hit. It doesn't do anything, really. But, I mean, it's a nice event or a thing to do with people, maybe? I don't know. I don't really hang out with people.
My kids call it the function. It's like you throw that word around
So how
asking each
old are
other-
you, Mr. B? Because you're kind of aging yourself.
I'm 27.
Yeah. So maybe don't say stuff like that.
I preface it by saying my kids in class are the ones saying this, not myself. I don't understand what it means in this context.
So even more.
Seems like an outlandish use of the word.
Can I borrow your phone for a second, Mr. Bright?
Sure, and I'll give her my actual phone, not Teddy's.
She's gonna open his browser and bookmark urbandictionary.com.
I don't like that site.
Why? Those are important words too.
It uses a lot of words that I'm not fond of.
Like
Well,
what?
Yeah. What the
Like-
detective says. Or defender.
Ones you are likely very familiar with, Miss Massaquoi. You use them frequently in your school essays, which I found impressive, actually.
Mm-hmm. Because that's the speak of the people.
I suppose so. That's a fair point.
Which is why I passed. Thank you.
Despite all of that and your flagrant use of spark notes, you still wrote a very compelling argument, so yes, you did pass my class.
Yes. So hookah lounges. Or the functions. I'm gonna
Function.
call it and say it's Kris. I don't think it's me because no one ever shows up for me, so I don't think it's mine.
Yeah. I
Chris,
think
you
that would
said
be a
it-
little bit too obvious.
You said you figure it is you. Why do you say that?
Well, because the actual one that would have made sense for me is the one that Sarah just got, so.
I did think
So-
it would have been you.
So the one that makes sense for Coda is not going to be hers, right? It's going to be mine.
Well, I
Yeah.
guess we'll have to wait and see.
Perhaps there's
Yeah.
been a lot of
Bated fucking breath.
misdirection. I didn't.
I
even
met my
see.
dad at a McDonald's.
Oh,
Classy.
did he at least buy you lunch?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
So what's your god the god of? Like strength? Speed?
Oh,
Cars?
he's
Lunch.
he actually used to be one of us.
Lunch. Like a scion?
Yeah,
Confused?
he ascended to godhood.
That's a thing.
Wait, yeah.
Yeah, if you get strong enough and your fate gets powerful enough, you can ascend. Takes
Well,
time.
shit.
We can
All right.
become gods. That's
Yeah, and you can join like your parents' pantheon if you want. Some people form their own pantheons.
So could we have like
Really rare,
worshiper in like a cult or something?
I don't want anyone praying to the god Oliver. That's not very
Well,
deific
you could
of
be the
ask me.
bright god.
Sounds a
Ollie.
little culty.
Or the god of public education.
Mm-hmm. Rubber rulers.
I don't need that level of deference. It's not for me. I would be a terrible god.
The god of tweed.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's for sure.
The god of destroying books.
Mm-hmm.
I only did that because I didn't see any other option. I would much rather prefer them to stay as they are. That being bound together and legible.
You know, Mr. B, as much as you're down on yourself or whatever, you're pretty crafty and on your feet because you like smeared blood on the books and tossed them, and I'm sure that took the
That's clever.
right? So he's over here saying he's terrible, he doesn't want people to worship him whatsoever, but that was pretty
It-
smart. I
That's
just
the
hit it
kind
with
of
a
stuff that
bat.
Karim would do, and he's definitely the best of us.
Heat of the moment, I just did what felt right in the moment. I'm sure I'll do something quite the opposite of helpful in the future.
Hey, but so are your friends. Everybody screws up. I screw up all the time. But if they need somebody to punch something in the face, I'm good at that.
Yeah.
Well, if you need an in-depth analysis of classic literature, then you come to me.
We're literally living in a world where myths and monsters are coming to life right before us.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we will be.
My expertise in mythology is not that large. It's mostly about just literature, fiction, Catch-22, Fahrenheit 451. You've... Why? Did you not read either of those books?
No.
I
Wait.
assign them.
Damn, you should.
Right? They're both phenomenal.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
You know, I got a copy of Fahrenheit 451 that's covered in asbestos. No shit.
Really?
Yeah, no shit.
Where did you get that?
I picked it up in a bookshop in New York kind of like 10 years ago.
Do you remember what shop?
No, God, no.
I'll need to
We
look
were
out
on
for something
tour
like
at the
that.
time.
That's a very good find. If we ever get a chance to go back and you know where it is, I would love the opportunity to look it over. That's a very interesting copy.
There's got to be a god of music, right? Maybe that's who your
There's lots of gods
dad
of music.
is.
Multiple.
Or
For what
mom.
it's worth, my dad was a scion like us, and well, the Jade Emperor didn't like him very much because he was a little arrogant and a little full of himself, and he ordered him to commit suicide. And then his dad brought him back, and well, no, his teacher brought him back.
So we can be brought back then.
By people with the right stuff, yeah. But we can't just come back on our own.
What right stuff? What kind of right stuff?
Depends on the god. Usually it takes a god's involvement. Or a powerful enough scion. It's not easy. It takes a lot, and there's usually pretty high prices to be paid.
This would have been very good information last night for my own mental sanity.
You wouldn't have been able to do anything, and neither would I.
The knowledge of it is still helpful. It's something to... Never mind.
It's a goal to work towards, I guess.
It's a goal to work towards.
Sure, if he decides he wants to come back. You don't want to force that kind of transition on a person.
Right.
Of course. But
The Egyptians have learned that the hard way. Doesn't go well.
I imagine he would. He has a family to come back to, people to look after. But if he doesn't, then that's fair. It is his decision.
Anyway, not all, but most of the death gods have some sort of gift with it. Some are better than others. But they would all demand a pretty high price if they even agreed to talk to you in the first place. Most of them are pretty invested in the balance being kept and the cycle not being interrupted, but sometimes you get lucky or you have something good enough to give them.
And I'm gonna look at Kris playing a song to get the very stones to weep so that you can convince the Lord of the Dead to allow your dead wife to walk back to the overworld with you. Only for you to screw up and look behind you at the last possible moment and, ruin the whole thing, but it's a tragedy, so.
This is exactly what I mean when I say, like you read all these books and you start saying stuff that's actually probably real now. You see what I mean?
Yeah, no, Orpheus was a real person.
There we go. Exhibit 15.
I don't know that his story went exactly the way that it is in all of the books, but he was real.
I rest my case.
Knowing these things that are now real is different than them being applicable.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So you look up as she is rounding a corner and she pulls into what seems like an alleyway. There's no obvious hints of where a place would be. Like there are doors on the buildings around you, but most of them don't even have handles because they're doors that are emergency exits and they're meant to open out, not in. Huh. Well, this is the address. I don't see anything. Weird. And after a moment of her, like, hurriedly, like, pulling out her phone, and it looks like she's rapid fire texting somebody, probably Moira or Karim or both, there's a little thunk on the hood of the car. And as you all look up, there's a cat sitting on the hood, staring inward at you. Then there's another thunk on the top of the car. And like 3 that come from behind you, and there are cats, little house cats, are jumping up or jumping down on top of this car.
Well, Coda's gonna stick her hand out for the cats.
Wait. What if these are like the wolves?
Well, if they are, then I guess I'm going to die a terrible death by kitty cats.
Assuming that you have opened up the window of the car,
Yeah.
One of them in particular makes its way over. It is quite possibly one of the most striking cats you've ever seen in person. You've seen pictures of Abyssinians, but this is like the quintessential an Abyssinian cat. Its fur is goldish red, with white around its like throat and belly, bright, like intense yellow eyes. A very sleek but somehow still very noble bearing. And it makes its way over to where your hand is kind of outstretched, and it kind of does that thing that cats do where it noses at your fingers and then presses its head up into your palm, and like you lets out a very loud purr.
I think I take back what I say. This may be my stop.
Well, let's...
Yeah, she's gonna keep petting the cat.
Cat's waiting for you to get out of the car.
All
Seems
right.
like.
She's gonna get out the car with her bat and holding an arm out for the cat to like jump into.
The moment your arm is outstretched, the cat sort of jumps up and like climbs up to perch like on your shoulder. And its tail kind of wraps around your neck. The other cats, meanwhile, seem to move as one, like a flock of birds do, but they're all obviously on the ground and on top of the car, and they sort of surround you and begin to like herd you like a wave that you're caught on towards the back of the alleyway.
I'll be back. And then she's fully focused on these cats.
At the end of the alleyway, kind of cast into shadow, is a door that you couldn't really see before just because of the way the shadows and the light work here. There is no handle on the door, but you do see what looks like a block or like a section that looks like it might open up or slide somehow from the other side.
Yeah, I'll try to... Honestly, she's just tapping her bat around to see like if there's any places that are loose. And you said it looks like it slides?
There's like a rectangle at the top of the door that looks like, it's not very big, like a hand might fit through it. But it's closed at the moment, but it looks like it's separate from the rest of the door, so somebody on the other side might be able to move it. Gotcha.
I think I'm here, and she's gonna like tap her bat against the rectangle.
The slot kind of is pushed to the side, and a pair of eyes kind of look out at you, and the cat on your shoulder gives a very loud and abrupt meow. That kind of insistent meow that animals get when they want to be fed. And then the slide closes again, and the door opens. And inside, you are greeted by the sound of music that you would hear in movies based in faraway places like Egypt. There are lush, thick silks everywhere. Gold seems to be the trim of choice on everything. Everything looks opulent and a little bit hazy from the hookah smoke kind of drifting through the air. They're nowhere near as thick as the bar that Sarah went into.
Well, I go
Come in. The young woman that meets you is clearly from, at the very least, has blood that is like Southeast Asian or Southwest Asian, or Egyptian, kind of Middle Eastern, that sort of thing. It's hard to tell precisely because it looks like she's probably from one of those family lines that's kind of had a lot of varied couplings throughout the years. And she kind of brings you in and shuts the door. You must be Miss Coda.
Yeah. And you are?
Not important. This way. And she'll kind of lead you along. You'll forgive me, this place isn't technically legal, so we don't give out our names.
Oh, okay, I see. Understood. Right.
You can call me Dina if you need anything, though.
Dina. Perfect.
And she will lead you to an archway that is covered by sheer but many silk curtains. So you can kind of see inside. You can see that there is a figure of some sort inside, kind of lounging among what look to be pillows on the floor. But it is hard to make out the details. And when Dina pulls on a little rope next to it, the curtains on one side part and open. And inside is a woman. Legacy, would you do the honors, please?
So, the first thing that Coda sees is, yes, there are pillows all over the floor, but there's also a bunch of cats that surround a very tall and curvy woman, but yet very slender at the same time. Her jewelry is aplenty. She's wearing many different things: chokers, long necklaces, chains around her waist, bracelets and rings, and a little arm belt. She wears a little headpiece, and her hair is braided with beads intertwined in them. And but the thing that is the most obvious about her are her eyes. They are bright, almost glowing green with little slits right in the middle where the irises should be. And she looks at Coda with almost a look of curiosity on her face until what was very neutral expression turns into a grin. Coda.
Yeah.
It is very good to see you. Come, take a seat. I know you'd like to smoke, so please. The finest tobaccos and herbs that I could find in relatively short notice.
I'm gonna stare at her for a bit. Is a cat still in my on my shoulder?
It is. It has not left you.
Okay.
It does kind of. It is watching her, but it is still on your shoulder.
Gotcha. So I think she's gonna take a moment and something to calm herself for a moment, and so she's gonna like reach and pet the cat a little bit and like kind of tap her bat a little bit on the ground as if like, let me just keep my temper. She'll sit down and look at what she's offered her to smoke. Thank you. Seems like you're comfortable.
We all have our side gigs, as the mortals call them. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Bastet, or Bast if you're looking for a nickname. And you are my daughter. I'm sure that Nanette and her ragtag team of scions have probably explained that to you, though.
Yeah, she has.
Let me... Hmm?
Please continue. I'd love to hear all of this.
Let me be the first to say that I'm sorry that our meeting had to come like this. I wasn't planning on introducing myself until well after you graduated from college, which I hope you're doing well in your studies, by the way. I do
yeah,
pay
of
good
course.
I do pay good money to send you to school.
What do you mean you pay good money to send me to school?
Have you ever noticed you've never actually gotten a bill yet?
Yeah, cause I got a scholarship, not cause my quote unquote off parent was paying my bills.
And Coda, who do you think gave you that scholarship? Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk to you about something that might be important. I am proud that you managed to brute your way through those wolves. I'm not too knowledgeable on the Norse, but from what I know, those things are bad news. And of course, I had no doubts in my mind that you would be able to get out. But you went back for a man that you barely knew. I'm curious. Why is that?
I don't know myself. Maybe it's... because usually look out for myself, because, being constantly abandoned for most of my life kind of makes someone do something like that. But I guess maybe it's because he has a daughter that he is sticking around and he was sticking around to take care of, and he loved her. So I figured, hey, if I could stop another family from being torn apart, maybe I'll try to do something else than just, protecting myself. And we saw what happened. So it just goes to show, what is it Nat told us something about fate. I guess it was in the fate that he was meant to die, and another kid has been left and abandoned to this cold, sad world that is apparently a playing field for gods. Sorry. Was that a good answer for you?
You've always been quick to anger, haven't you?
Yeah.
Just know, Coda, you were never truly alone. I've always been watching you. It might not ever be obvious, but I have ways of keeping my eyes on the people that I love and care about. And she gestures to the cat that's perched on Coda's shoulder. Prime example number 1.
That cat gives a very loud purr and sort of nuzzles up against Coda's cheek.
As much as she doesn't want to show that she's smiling at this, because she's fully got her arms crossed and like she's like glaring at Bass, but when the cat rubs against her, she does like break for a moment and goes to pet it.
That's what I'd like to see. You know, it's so amazing that you were drawn to animals as much as you are. It makes me proud. Have you any idea of what I am, who I am?
No. To be honest, no. The most I've seen about stuff similar to this is I watched and Nana let me watch a movie and it was like Catwoman or something, and she like drowned or something, and then suddenly cats liked her, but there was like Egyptian stuff that was happening. So is that what's happening? Or are you like Catwoman, or am I good Catwoman now or something?
Well, if you take on from any of your brothers or sisters, I mean, you might have more grace or better perception. But yes, for more modernized terms, I'm kind of like Catwoman. My people, you, my followers, we tend to worship and find a deep love for felines, cats, lions, the occasional fox, maybe, but back in ancient days, wheat was a necessity for the Egyptian diet. But because it was the ancient days, rats and maybe rodents ridden with disease would come and mess up the crops. I came in and I introduced, well, felines, house cats, things I would protect and hunt and make sure that the crops wouldn't go bad. And because of that, people kept cats in their homes and would often speak to me and ask for me to come and watch over the cats and help them with their hunt. Your lineage dates back thousands upon thousands of years. You are in a line of protectors and divine femininity and hunt. I'm not surprised that you turned out the way that you did. But you need to be careful too. Because as much as we are protectors and guardians and watchers of the home and family, we're also prone to our curiosity. You ever find yourself staring at something and maybe something that you shouldn't really be touching and wondering what would happen if you approached and touched, or maybe if you put your hand on like something that might be dangerous.
Yeah, it's
Get
kind of
yourself
how I
in.
got into smoking.
I am well aware, and while I wasn't appreciative of your decisions to partake in things that might have messed up your perception, I am also aware that you're more inclined to be curious. There are things in this world that are going to try and pique that curiosity and use it against you. And I am all for people to go off and explore their curiosities. Hell, go deep, dive deep right in them, get your hands and sink them in. Learn about the world around you. Just be safe. One of them almost got to you, and I needed to step in to protect you.
Were you that cat that... I mean, I did hear a cat get hurt, and I kind of ran towards it. Is that you or something?
I'm always watching you, Coda. You've made me very, very proud, and I would come in turn over the earth to protect you.
I want to be angry at you. I really do. But thanks, I guess. Bass. I'm not going to call you mom yet. It's, it's going to take time.
I don't expect you to.
Okay, perfect.
But I'm not sure if any of your other friends who are with you have gotten theirs yet. But I do have a couple of gifts that I want to give you. I was waiting and crafting and making sure that everything was perfect, and unfortunately I couldn't finish my project, so I had to send it off to a couple of the friends to finish it for me. But I do have one thing that I want to give you. One thing that I think you might appreciate.
Yeah.
It looks like he already got accustomed to you. Isn't
The
that
cat?
right, little one? Mm-hmm.
It gives a insistent little meow, and where your arms are folded, Coda, he slides himself down into them and kind of does that thing like cats do, where he's just like, this is my spot, you will make room for me.
Coda gets so excited for a brief moment, and she's like looking at her, then looking at the cat, and then looking at her, and then looking at the cat. No way did you get me a cat or give me a cat.
Not just any cat. This cat is special. One of my favorites. So you need to take very, very good care of him. Well, go on, little one. Don't be shy, say hello.
Cat kind of tilts its head back to look up at you, Coda, and you realize that while these eyes are definitely feline eyes, they're definitely a cat's eyes. They are way too intelligent for a normal cat. And after a moment, you hear him meow, but you also hear in your head, hello.
He's gonna drop the cat.
Well, he lands in your lap because you were sitting down. So
Right.
he sort of lands in your lap and you hear an indignant little meow. Well, that was rude.
Holy shit, you're talking to me. You're a talking cat. Are you talking in my head or are you talking out loud? What did you give me to smoke? You're a talking cat. What's your name? Oh my god. Did you give me a talking cat? She now says that to Bass.
A lot more when she's excited.
She's always done that, yes. So, a couple of rules about the cat. He is to follow you. He will also be our main line of communication. If you ever need anything or find yourself in a situation where you might have some questions or things that I can help you with, he will be our connection to one another. You can only hear him. He is yours. That is yours to take care of. Just whatever you do, make sure that his collar never comes off. The magic is in the collar itself.
Okay.
I'm your guide. As for a name, you get to pick one. Humans can't pronounce our language. She can. Not human, though.
Cool. Can you give me a bit to think about? Because this is...
Of course.
Can you fight? Can you, like, transform?
No, I mean, I can fight other cats and small things. But no, I am not here to fight for you. I would not be good at it. Unless it's rats. I'm good at fighting rats. And dogs, sometimes.
Huh. Wow.
But I can walk between worlds. And find you ways that you can walk between worlds.
Between worlds?
Oh, yes.
Huh. I have so many questions.
Oh, feel free to ask.
Huh. So... Huh. What do we do? Like, what does our I don't want to say family. What is our...
Pantheon.
Thank you. Mr. Cat. What does our pantheon do? Like, can we... What do we do?
Well, first of all, you will find as you come into yourself that you are going to be, again, maybe a bit more. You will be able to see and hear things that most others cannot. You're going to be more graceful, more dexterous. You'll find yourself being able to keep up with the best of them in talking and in negotiating. We're fighters. We are spies. We are vets.
Rulers.
Kings and queens.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
We are protectors, and the women in our pantheon are as strong and fierce as they come. Much like most cats. All cats.
At meows and puffs out his little chest.
Okay. Cool.
You have a lot of anger and ferocity in you. Much like a lioness trying to protect. I want you to take your anger and I want you to do something with it. Turn it into something. Coda.
All right.
I do have one more gift for you, but like I said, unfortunately, it's being tinkered and just wrapped up with a pretty bow. Have you heard of a place called Anvil?
Yeah, Mr. B mentioned it, and then what's her name? Sarah mentioned it too after talking to her pops or her dad. Yeah, apparently we're gonna meet dwarves. Didn't know that was real, but we're gonna go meet some dwarves, and they're going to give us our stuff. So is Mr. Cat, no offense, Mr. Cat, are you like my birthright or something? Like, I'm not gonna get like a stone around a neck, right? No offense to whoever got that.
Well, listen, I'm sorry that other pantheons just don't do it like the Egyptians do.
Okay. Cool, because I'm not gonna lie, I was really gonna be like, if you really abandoned me for most of my life and then just popped back into my life to be like, oh, here's a rock, I assure you I would have been hella pissed.
Oh, don't be silly, don't be silly. I had grand plans for you. You know, not everybody gets the chance to meet their mother or their father. I saw great and amazing things in you from when you were a child and growing up. I know that you're capable, Coda. You are more than capable. You're a star. But
I am.
You need to do yourself some justice and take all of that pent-up anger from a life that you think was taken from you. And you need to go and kick ass.
All right. Mom said so I gotta do it.
I hope you like gold.
Yeah.
Good. I have one more thing I want to give you. It's not magical, but I was saving it as a special little gift. I take out a little box and I hand it over to Coda. This is so you don't forget your roots.
She's gonna open it.
And inside it's a little chain necklace with it on the charm. It's a little triangle with an eye right in the middle. I will send you the reference to what it actually looks like.
Mm-hmm.
As I said before, there's no magic properties. It's not a birthright. It's merely a gift.
Thank you. Thanks. I kind of wanted to come in here and kick shit and break stuff, but I guess this turned out better than I expected.
And I'm sorry about your father and Ophelia. Your father was a very good friend of mine.
Huh.
The only person that I trust. And they died protecting you. And your grandmother Stubborn as all hell, but smart as they come. The only other
Right.
person I'd allow to take care of you.
Cool. Well, are we done here? I don't want the others waiting because we got other appointments to make, and I think I've taken up enough time. So you can see now she's kind of like wiping at her eyes a little bit, and yep. So is it time for us? I guess I'll talk to you later through Mr. Cat once I get his name, and I guess we're done here, right? Thanks for the necklace and the cat.
You're welcome, Coda. And like I said, if you ever have anything that you need, you have a walking, breathing, hunting cell phone.
Noted.
I am better than that. I am a guide.
A guide.
Oh,
Yes.
Before you go, and then she's just gonna take out a little mouse and toss it to the cat.
He snatches it out of the air with his teeth. And then without thinking about it, just like it's totally normal, sets the mouse in Coda's hand so that he can make his way over to Bastet. And he does that thing that cats do where he like stands on his back paws and puts his front paws like up on her chest and then like leans in and touches noses with her for a moment. Before like leaning in and like nuzzling and purring for a moment. Okay. I will keep her safe. And then he goes back to Coda.
Well, see ya.
My mouse.
Oh, right. And she'll hand him the mouse. Right, here you go.
Hi, cool.
Dina seems cool too. She helped me down here, so tell her that maybe if you want.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I'll be sure to let her know.
Cool. Well, nice to meet you, and I guess I'm gonna go now. Cool. And she's going to very quickly make her way out with Cat.
As you are leaving, the cat does that thing that cats do, where he climbs up the back of your pant leg and up onto your shoulder, and seems very content to allow you to shepherd him around, because he is a tiny god, and you will learn this lesson quickly.
Cool. And I'll make my way back to the car.
You reach the car with a cat
Yeah.
who is noshing down on a mouse.
Yeah. She'll very quietly sit down in the car and kind of like stare straight ahead for a moment. And then look at the group and go, okay. So that went pretty well. I got a cat. And the same thing. Anvil. Yeah.
Well, all right. Onwards and
Ooh.
upwards.
Who gifted you the cat?
Oh, right. Yeah, my mom, her name is Bastet, but she said I could just call her Bass. And she is the god of, how do you pronounce it?
Oh, the cat looks at you. The pantheon name?
Yes, the pantheon name.
Well, they're called the Pasejet, but they're the Egyptians.
Oh, so Egyptians pretty much, but Jets, if I want to be more accurate with my, I guess, heritage now. I'm Catwoman, pretty much.
Neat, says Net as she is pulling out of the thing. And she kind of looks in the rear view at Kris. I don't know where we're supposed to take you. I'm being told to bring you back to the house.
Last and very much least. That's fine. I don't mind.
Sorry.
Hey, no, you good. Shit happens, am I right?
Yeah.
You got a smoke?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's the one you want. It doesn't really do anything, though, anymore.
You're welcome to take a hit of mine, but it'll make you jittery, probably.
No, I'm looking just for like a tailored cigarette, you know?
Uh-huh.
Sarah's gonna roll her eyes and offer him another menthol.
Should we just stop at a store? Because we can stop at a
Yes.
store. We've got
Yes,
no- Let's
please.
stop at a store.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem I got is, I left the house. I didn't bring my phone, my wallet. I didn't
no
bring a
problem.
fucking shirt with me. Like, I have nothing except
No
my lighter.
problem. Scions don't make a ton of money, but we have very rich parents. And she'll kind of, as she's driving, like reach over and flick open the glove compartment. And there's looks like a billfold inside. Sarah, if you could grab some cash out of there, I'd appreciate it.
She'll grab some.
Inside are like many hundreds that are folded up. I don't have a job, but Dad takes care of me. He keeps me too busy for me to have time for a day job.
Well, shit, sign me up.
Last week, I got paid to wrestle a Kirin for entertainment.
I have
Who?
no idea what that is, but I am excited to have money for cigarettes.
Was it in oil?
No.
Okay.
Kirins are on fire. That would have been bad.
Oh, yeah, that would have been bad.
So, is Cerberus real? Like the three-headed dog? Is that
Cerberus? Yeah, he's
Cerberus?
real. He's real.
Are like hydras real?
I assume so. But if I may, something I'd like to circle back to. Mr. Strom, you said you're the least of us. That is most certainly not true, as I've watched you lift an entire man onto your shoulder, sprint off into darkness and mist, and be the first person to leap onto a semi-truck. You led the charge there. You were the one who inspired us and let us know what we are capable of doing. You are certainly not the least of us at all.
For sure. That's pretty badass. Hot shit, man.
Yeah, I don't remember a whole lot of that, you know.
Well,
Plus,
I
you're a
do.
Your parent could be the type that prefers to be fashionably late.
Yeah,
Maybe
there are
I'm
a
the-
lot of those.
Maybe I'm the son of Steve Austin.
I like wrestling.
If we're talking about
No, not Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm talking about the one that cost $6 million.
Oh. Yeah, if
no,
we're talking about fashionably late, though, I didn't actually even meet my father. I met Teddy, which was very nice, but I still have no idea what my parents even like, other than some small details about him.
You'll meet him. What Karim was saying, all
I
of
was
the
told
all of the
he's an Anvil.
tacticians, yeah, all of the tacticians and generals are having a summit in Anvil. It's kind of like the safest place in the world, at least in theory.
I feel like those two words are very big and very loud.
It's I've heard of it. I haven't. Okay, so not everybody gets to go to Anvil. Usually it's a place that only the Aesir send their kids to. But this is a special circumstance because everybody's getting attacked. And Anvil is a town that is warded and fortified with magic. So that, like, mortals can't even find it. Like, they can't even drive into it, even if they're on, like, a one-way road that only goes that way. They will stop and turn around and leave and not really recognize that they're doing it. And on the rare occasion that a mortal has enough willpower to fight their way through that spell, there are other spells that once they get there, they will not want to stay. So they will just keep driving. They will not stop. And there are various lines of defense against Titan spawn. They're not perfect. There's always a chance that they'll break through. But the dwarves are not to be fucked with. So even if you manage to make it through the outer defenses, which are mostly just there to tell you to go away, you know, I can guarantee you that there are some nasty contraptions and traps and things to deal with anyone who actually makes it into the heart of the town that is not supposed to be there.
Not supposed to be there. Good. I did not want to be home alone.
Oh yeah, no, you're welcome. And like I said, at least one of your parents is going to be there. There's a pretty good chance that others will be, but it's hit or miss. The problem with having too many beings with a lot of legend tied to them in one place is, one, that it lights up like a beacon if they're not very careful about hiding it. And two, if something goes sideways and there's like a fight or something, there could be like new continents made.
Ah.
Yeah. So, on the one hand, having their meeting here in the world is good because it keeps everybody in line and makes it easier for you guys to meet with them and for them to create relics for all of the scions that are getting forced to awaken early. A lot of gods are going and meeting with their kids years ahead of time right now because they're afraid that their kids are going to get, nommed.
I take it we're included in that?
No, because you were forced to go through your awakening.
Ah, I see.
So, this may just be the pessimist in me speaking. But how do we know this meeting that's happening isn't being, like, I don't know, set up or something? Like, what if we get there and then all the doors lock and suddenly it's a fight to the death? I'm sure there's gotta be, like, not good scions, right?
Sure, there are scions that have turned their backs on the gods. Not very many. They don't usually last very long. Most Titan spawn won't work with them. But there are some out there.
Okay. I'm just,
As for how do you know that this isn't a setup, well, I'm pretty sure we'd know by now. Our side would. The gods certainly wouldn't do that to you. Not after what you guys have been through. You guys have kind of already been through your trial by fire. You'll be all right.
Okay, just, I'm still going to be considering it, but all right.
I mean, I won't say that Anvil's not a target. If the Titan spawn find it, it would be a pretty ideal place to go. But like I said, I wouldn't want to square off against the dwarves. They're not to be fucked with. And the few Titan spawn that are like them, that aren't, in thrall to the Titans that created them. The dwarves technically are Titan spawn, but they don't work for them anymore. They haven't for a long time. They're like free agents in most cases, but the dwarves have pretty firmly paired up with the Aesir because it's a sweet deal. They always have work. And the Aesir do what they can to keep them safe, and there's usually at least 5 Aesir scions with guardianship marks on that town, so that they can show up if things go wrong and they need to throw down.
Understood.
Nice.
I have guardian marks on Karim and Moira in case something goes wrong and we're not together. It lets me kind of get to them in a couple of seconds, no matter how far away I am.
So,
Damn.
should we put that on each other? Like our group?
If you get Guardian as one of your powers, it's a purview thing, you know? Not everybody has the exact same purview as their parents. Like Moira's got a... Well, purview is like what a god is associated with. Like, Hera's not associated with death, but because we did a favor for her uncle Hades, she has a gift that allows her to tap into the death purview.
Interesting. Okay,
Indeed.
cool.
One of mine is Guardian. I basically have I've branded little marks onto their souls. So if they get into trouble, I can feel it. And then I show up and, you know, last time I blinded a giant. That was fun.
You keep saying these stories, and it's... I don't know. I have words. It's...
You awoken because you were being chased by car-sized wolves.
Yes, but that's...
It's me
Pales
fighting a
in
dude who's
comparison.
like 9 to 14 feet tall, really that big.
And then
of a
you
difference.
also mentioned doing a favor for the Lord of the Underworld, and then also wrestling a flaming creature?
Yeah. I've been at this for a while. You'll get used to it.
Will
I
we, though?
certainly hope so.
I mean, if you survive long enough, yeah, you'll get used to it. And you guys have survived this, so I think you're probably well on your way to being pretty badass, especially if you stick together.
Okay.
So, as you guys are headed home, she stops off at a store, a big box store, one of those places where you can kind of get everything you might need. Doesn't have alcohol, but Kris, you're very well aware that the alcohol stocked at the house is plentiful and varied.
I will go in and pick up like a few cartons of cigarettes. So, you know, like 40, 60 packs, something like that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sarah will also pick up several cartons of cigarettes.
She will pass out cash to whoever needs it.
I'm just going to head in and browse the book section.
And she will heavily suggest that you all like grab things like, you know, as great as the cigarettes and stuff are, you're probably going to want to get clothes and things like that. Because there's a pretty good chance that you're not going to have time to go home
What about
before
my
you have to leave in the morning.
What about my driver's license?
I can see if I can get Karim to go pick it up for you.
Because
I
I
don't.
got other stuff there. You're like my guns there and everything. You know, my car keys, everything.
It's just that they knew where to find you.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'll see if Karim can go, or he can send a mortal to go. Someone who won't ping when the enemy goes looking. And he knows a lot of people. I'm sure he can find somebody.
I even left my favorite Beige Squad t-shirt there as well.
Oh shit, you read the Beige Squad?
Damn, yeah.
I actually
Awesome,
do.
me
as
too.
well.
Oh my
It's
god, I
the-
just started the Beige Squad.
It's a comic series that my kids said I might actually enjoy. I gave it a try, and I did enjoy it. It's actually quite entertaining.
Welcome
Wait,
to
what?
the times, old man.
I thought it was on this.
No, they're back. They started publishing again.
Shit.
God, you're like at least 5
The
issues.
store
behind.
might have some of the issues.
I have them. You can borrow mine.
Well, I guess we all found another thing that's binding us together.
A love of comics. Okay, disperse. Go get your things. I will meet everybody back at the front.
Okay.
Cool.
So you all go. You have time. Everybody can make a list if you want of the things that you're going to get, and you can provide it to me between sessions. It's a big box store. Everybody's been to at least 30 of them in their lifetime. It's nothing impressive. There's nothing special about this particular place. But as you are standing at the checkout, I would like everybody to make me perception and alertness, please.
I was about to say, don't you dare say it.
No.
Perception and awareness? Is it awareness, not alertness? Sorry, wrong system.
You've cursed me once again.
You will be okay.
I have one.
One, 1, 0.
I got 5.
5. Jesus. Okay. Sarah is the only one who notices. As you guys are checking out, you think it's a man walks by. He is the biggest man you have ever seen. He is at least 9 to 10 feet tall. And his face, it's hard to see all of it, but like it looks like there's like fire kind of crawling up around his face. And he is wearing a very tight fitting, like it is holding on for dear life, fireman's uniform. And he is walking by with several bags of groceries. Sarah noticed that.
So if everyone's else is like close by, she'll probably poke him.
Everybody's at the checkout.
Am I the only one seeing this? This
Seeing
guy
what?
is on fire.
What? Where?
What? Oh.
There.
Coda's gonna ask Mr. Kitty Cat, what's up with that guy?
Cat, who, by the way, a lot of people have been giving you looks.
She'll glare back at them like, I dare you to say something.
But he is staying on your shoulder, so people are kind of letting it go. The cat kind of looks up and gives a very wide-mouthed yawn. Oh, that's a fire giant.
Oh, of course it is. In a fireman's uniform. That makes sense.
And he's
You can't
quite
hear
big.
the cat, by the way.
Right.
Only Coda can hear the cat.
Mr. Cat says it's a fire giant.
Looks like he's grocery shopping.
That's something we need to be worried about?
No, he's not rampaging or destroying anything, is he?
Doesn't look like he cares about us at all right now.
No, looks like he's probably just gotten off of work and is going to take his food home.
Wait. So, assuming fire giants count as Titan Bloods, they just live normal lives too?
Some of them. Titans spawn.
Titan spawn, my bad.
But yes, some of them live normal lives. The ones that aren't in thrall to the Titan that created them. Giants are hit or miss. I
And
mean, he looks like one who's got control of himself and is living a nice, quiet life as a firefighter.
and if we hadn't awakened, what would we see if we looked at him?
A super tall dude who's probably kind of ugly.
Okay. Interesting.
What? Wow. Okay. Cool.
Ned is at the is busy paying for things and has not really been privy to most of this conversation. But once things are all bagged up and money has been passed over, she'll kind of look up and go, "What are you guys staring at?"
Nothing. I don't think we should be rude in this new world. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's your bags. Come on. We gotta get going. I don't want to spend too much time out in the open with a bunch of baby scions.
All right.
All right, yes.
Told you I'm good, but I can't take on a whole pack of them. 1, maybe 2 at a time, sure.
Cool. She'll grab some bags if she can and then head on out.
She will lead you guys back to the car. You all load in and head back to the house. She is none the wiser about the fact that you guys got to glimpse a Titan spawn in the wild that didn't try to kill you. Or maybe she did see him, but it didn't occur to her that that was weird. Who knows? Back at home, you all are there as, you guys all kind of walk in to find Moira in the middle of a very in-depth ritual, in the living room. So the living room's kind of off limits. Net's like, oh yeah, don't touch anything. We don't know where she's at and that, and if we mess it up, she'll start all over again and she'll definitely kill one of us. You guys have a lovely dinner. You're able to have drinks, relax, spend some time looking over your birthrights. That evening, you all head to bed. As you drift off to sleep, Kris.
Yes.
You pass into the warm, dark embrace of sleep. Body relaxed. Probably a little frustrated and annoyed. But it's about 10 p.m. when everybody kind of turns in. It's been a long day. And none of you slept very long the night before, so you're all pretty tuckered out. When you open your eyes next, you are in a forest. And it's nighttime. There is silvery moonlight drifting down through the branches above you. And as you look around, there is a majestic, tall, slender, white doe nearby. And she looks back over her shoulder at you and then turns and starts to walk deeper into the forest.
Follow.
She leads you on, and after a moment you realize that you're going to lose her. And just as you start to speed up to try and catch up, you realize you can't see her anymore. But it's easy enough to look down and spot the footprints.
Follow them.
And there are little flowers beginning to sprout and grow in those footprints as you pass by. As you go, eventually you break through the tree line and into a clearing. A full moon hangs overhead, and it bathes this clearing in a blue-silver, ethereal, otherworldly light. Sitting on a throne of antlers and brambles is a woman. One of her hands is idly stroking a large hunting dog at her side. The silver in her hair shimmers under the moonlight, and she leans forward, the fingers of her free hand, idly drumming at her bottom lip for a moment before she stands up. Zoe?
Strom, I am Artemis. It is a pleasure to meet you.
Well met.
At this moment, I'll take a few steps from my chair, walking down to meet him directly. I'm shorter than you are, but I still have that very godly presence to me, and I just gaze into your eyes for a moment. Not exactly what you expected.
Honestly, no. But that's okay.
Humor me then. Tell me what you did expect.
Like Odin or Thor, something like that.
You're not far off the mark. You are actually a child of Loki.
Ha.
When Kris chuckles, is that like I knew it, or like what is the feeling behind that?
The feeling behind that is no, definitely not. I knew it. It's more that I find that amusing in a kind of resigned sort of way. Not I knew it, but typical.
Well, now you must be asking yourself, why are you here in this glade with Artemis?
Yeah.
Well, scions of Loki have kind of a bad rap. The Aesir hunt them mercilessly. They are not welcome. And with Loki missing for the past 30 years...
Missing,
yes. They don't know where he went.
huh? Okay.
So, I do a service. I adopt wayward scions. Is what I do. I have no children to call my own for personal reasons. But I am here to offer you a place as my scion.
Okay.
You have no questions of what that means? You are simply accepting?
Oh no, I'm not accepting. I'm just trying to process the information here. You've given me a whole shitstorm of info, and I'm not really kind of conversant with what it all means. So, what is your relation with Loki?
I don't much care for him. He causes a lot of problems.
Okay. But I am a scion of Loki, but you're taking me under your wing? Is that what that means, or have I got that wrong?
We want to get technical. You are a child of Loki. I can only assume you were conceived before he went missing. It's your 33rd birthday today, yes?
Yeah. You're what do you say your name was? Sorry, excuse me, everything's kind of weird. Artemis, okay. You're the goddess of the hunt.
Yes, as well as many other things.
Oh yeah, death and virginity and archery and so on.
I tend to like to sum it up as life and death.
Life and death. And so is it your job? Do you kind of pick up the wayward scions? Is that what you do? I'm asking, I don't know.
When I can. It is difficult. Not a whole lot of gods want to give up their children so that I may raise them in their stead. But to your earlier question, you are a child of Loki. You are not a scion of Loki. You can never be a scion of Loki. Because Loki is gone. Wherever he is, he may not return in your lifetime. But the situation, you need to be a scion in order to survive. And as I do not have children, I offer this to you.
Well, it's been drummed into my head that if I turn this all down, then I'm likely to die pretty quickly, so I graciously accept.
A curious answer. You know what I thought when I heard of your story?
What?
Have you any knowledge of fox hunts?
Not a lot, no.
Well, it's an old tradition. Hunters would get on horses and chase down a lone fox. Clearly outnumbered, the creature had no real chance of survival.
Yeah.
That is how the Aesir treat the children of Loki. They hunt them down mercilessly. It is outnumbered, and it is cruel.
So, if, for instance, I told everybody else that I was a child of Loki, that would be a bad thing, right?
Yes and no. The Aesir know of your existence, and they want nothing to do with you. I know this because I have friends in the Aesir.
So the best thing is for me to say that what, I'm a child of Artemis?
Well, you will be, if you are certain.
Huh, okay.
Think of it this way. When a mother or father adopts a child, that is their charge, that is their child from there on. Do not think of me as anything less. I will care for you.
No, I understand. I just suddenly thought of something. Everybody else in my group is an orphan, and I'm not. But yet in this world, I'm the orphan and they're not. That's kind of funny, don't you think?
It was an interesting juxtaposition, yes.
Well, I graciously accept your offer. Thank you.
You're welcome. This is somewhat easier than I thought it would be.
Well, I know when I got my back against the wall, I don't think that it would be prudent for me to kind of stamp my little feet in protest like a 5-year-old in the supermarket where their mother is not giving them candy. So it's a lot easier for me to accept my fate. And if going it alone means I'll be dead by this time next week, I'd be an idiot to turn you down.
This brings a smile to her face, and she taps her lip for a moment before saying, I understand you had a band. You like music, yes?
Yeah, it's my life.
I listened to your song Prometheus. Found it very fitting.
If I'd only known when I wrote it. Shit.
Everything was kind of short notice, so I apologize meeting to you in a dream, but I hope that we are able to run out into each other on more personal terms at some point. And you'll notice, in this dreamscape, there's a lot of movement. There are shapes in the trees kind of coming and going. Sometimes deer, sometimes people, but you can't really see them because of the nature of dreams, right? It's hard to focus on any given thing.
I'm probably sat cross-legged on the floor, in all honesty, now, at this point in the conversation. So, the other people have said, a few things. One is that they were given some kind of focus. And the other thing is that they're all got to go to this place called Anvil in Maine. So, I'm assuming that I got to kind of do that too?
Well,
or
yes, that is the idea. I am having one of your birthrights sent there for you to pick up. The other one, Little Fox, this is for you. And she'll hand you a necklace with, it's a silver fox pendant with a black leather strap.
I will put it on. You notice that I've got a Mjolnir made out of pewter around my neck as well.
Yeah, she's quite aware of your attachment to the Aesir, and a little saddened by it. Like, you can see that little touch in her eyes as she glances upon it of just...
I'll look at you, and then I'll grab hold of that, and I'll just, like, rip it off of my neck and throw it away while I'm kind of meeting your gaze, and then nod.
You could have kept it. It is sad you will never be fully accepted by those you hold in such high esteem. That was the look I had.
Well, that's where I come from, you know. It's the country I was born in. It's what I grew up with. It's kind of hard to let it go. But at the end of the day, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do, as they say. I gotta do this, and I gotta do it.
Speaking of... how do I put this lightly? A lot of your life has been met with hardship. You struggle, and you flounder. Life is hard. But there is something I want to see from you. I want to see your conviction. I want to see you become the hunter.
You want to see me become a hunter?
Yes.
Okay.
Exact patience and intelligence. And you will learn how to bring down any prey.
Kris nods, doesn't say anything. Kind of lost in thought a little bit.
Kris, do you put on the fox?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely put it on. I put it on before I ripped off the other one.
You don't know if it is the fact that you are so close to her, or the fact that this being a dreamscape and everything around you being so quiet that you are better able to focus on how you feel and how your mind, body, and soul are reacting. But when you put that pendant on, there is a rush of surety that if ever you need to, if ever you are in trouble and faced with some measure of authority that is trying to hamper you, whether it be police or a boss or someone like that, you at least stand a chance of being able to kind of give them a shit-eating grin and an aw shucks look, and they'll kind of brush off whatever it is that you've done.
Gotcha.
It looks good on you.
You know, I may get rid of that pendant, but I got a ton of tattoos that they ain't going away quite so soon, you know. I got a big old Mjolnir on my shoulder, and that's always going to be with me because that's always been my heritage, but I'm willing to always look to the future. I'm willing to understand and believe that, you know, I got this destiny. So why I may rip that pendant off, and it means a lot to me. By doing that, I'm showing you that I'm undertaking this and that I understand that this is important and I got to throw my heart into it. So that's why I rip that pendant off. You get me?
I understand. Set your eyes on the prize. Do not lose sight of it.
Exactly.
However, do not forget where you come from. It is part of you.
Oh, I'll never forget where I come from. I've even got that writ on my skin large. It ain't going nowhere.
She kind of leans back in her chair at this point, still kind of idly drumming the hunting dog's head for a moment. Do you have any more questions for me? before I let you go back to sleep?
I mean, I have so many questions, I don't even know where to start. I think that'll come in time. All I can do now is just make sense of everything that I've been told, and maybe we can speak again in the future.
We will. I will never be
Okay.
far.
Well, all right then. I'll keep. Well, I'll no doubt have a laundry list of questions next time we speak.
Very well. I look forward to answering them.
Thank you. I mean that. If you've given me the chance to survive and the opportunity to do so, then that means a lot. Thank you.
With this, Artemis will stand again from her chair and come over and place a hand gently on the top of your head before saying, "Then I welcome you, Kris, child and scion of Artemis."
Kris, where her hand touches your forehead is roughly in the same spot where the crown of antlers that she wears touches hers. And there is a cold tingling that starts there. It's not unpleasant. It spreads over your face, through your head, and passes through the rest of your body. And it congregates in that place in your gut where the burning yesterday began. It's like all of that pain and heat that you experienced when your blood came alive is being not dampened, but soothed, changed and shifted, maybe from molten gold to cool, crisp mercury. And the last thing that you catch is a look of a accepting and proud smile on her face. And then you wake up, and it is morning.
Immediately my hand goes to my throat and pulls up the necklace and seeing which one is there.
Both of them, well, what you are wearing one of them. The silver fox pendant is there. The Mjolnir necklace is not around your neck, but when you cast your eyes around the room, it is laying in the corner of the bedroom on the floor, like you threw it away.
I will go and pick it up. I'm not going to get rid of it, but I'm not going to wear it. I might actually turn it into a wrist bracelet instead.
Okay. It is very, very early dawn. Like, it's technically morning, but it's still almost night. You're pretty sure most of the rest of the house is still asleep.
I'm going to go outside, just outside the front door, and I'm going to kind of crouch down on the doorstep with a cigarette. And I'm just going to stare off into the darkness and just be quiet and smoke a cigarette.
A few moments into you crouching there and smoking, being alone with your thoughts, there is a very quiet clearing of a throat from behind you inside.
Turn around. Have a look.
You all right, love?
Yeah. I think I met my mom.
Did you?
Yeah.
Care to share with the class?
Yeah, I'm still kind of processing, but, Artemis.
Ah, family then.
Wants me to be a hunter.
That is her way. She is an interesting figure.
Yeah.
One of my favored cousins, if I'm being honest. Cousins? Siblings? It is hard. The family tree is complex.
Oh, okay. I had a lot to think about, so...
I'll give you your space. I just wanted to make sure that you were okay.
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks. Yeah.
And I am on watch duty, so if you need anything, I'll be inside.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. Oh, don't panic if you see ghosts.
Oh, okay. Please explain.
Well, your friend Teddy. I was asked to perform a ritual to make it so that you all could interact with him and not just Oliver. That's what I was doing all day.
Is he here?
Not at the moment. I believe he is meeting with his mother again, but he will be back when you all leave.
Okay.
Or he'll meet you in Anvil, one of the two. But I have beings that I call on for help with things like watch duty. They're more likely to see things and notice things than I am, and others usually can't see them, so they're better watchmen than I am.
All right, okay, gotcha.
I'll kind of reach over and pat you on the shoulder. Welcome to the family, Kris. And then she'll turn and walk away. All right. Is there anything you would like to do, Kris, while you have the time alone?
No. Smoke, maybe drink some coffee, and probably start the workings of writing a brand new song in his head as well.
Perfect. All right. Well, it's a little bit early, but I think that on that note, we are going to call this the end of the session. Thank you all for joining us for this episode of Apotheosis. Have a lovely week.